There's no longer any skill to this game, only a grind. Items like the Hype have taken away much difficulty from dungeons and Kudra, and there are no longer any aspect of the game that takes skill to learn to do, only the right setup. That is the first hot take of this video, and that's just kind of letting you know what we're dealing with, because I have some rebuttals that you could say to that one. First of all, I believe that there is indeed skill to this game still. You just look at dungeons and you can see people going like, oh, that's too sweaty, I don't want to learn this, I don't want to learn that. But I mean, I feel like if you have to learn something, then that means it's kind of a skill to do, no? Otherwise, there would be nothing to learn. I feel like a big part of Kudra now is rent, and well, I will say that a lot of it is gear because, I mean, it's a pretty high cost to entry. But in terms of actually learning it, well, I think there is a high ceiling to what you can do, because if you're able to consistently pull for crazy DPS, then that, I would say, is a skill. If you're able to time it properly, I think that's a skill. But I will say that to be able to pull off something consistently, such as flicking levers or getting routing in P3, that still takes skill, and that kind of takes time to do as well. Sure, there might not be as many aspects as before, but you know, I wouldn't say there is no longer any aspect in the game that takes skill. The next hot take is that people that play the game just to amass a crap ton of coins and buy their way through every grind, they aren't here to play an MMORPG, they're just playing an incremental simulator and are a big reason to why the economy is in shambles. Big words. Big words. Whoever wrote this one. I will say that having tried money grinding myself, I get burned out so quickly, and I feel like that is kind of the thing, because in a sense there is no end, right? And that's kind of a metaphor for real life too, because people that chase money tend to often feel lonely and empty inside, because at the end of the day, you have all this money, but do you have a purpose, or do you have a reason for that money, right? Because once you have so much money, you can only buy so many things. And I feel like that's the same as Skyblock, because you can buy every armor, you can buy every rune, every exotic piece in the game, but at the end of the day, you're not actually playing the game if you're just buying things and flexing it. I see people that just go around and try to get attention for, I don't know, exotics or expensive things they bought, and, you know, it's like, okay, that's cool. And then, you know, we move on. In terms of why the economy is in shambles, I ain't no economics major, so I can't give, you know what, a definite detail on that. But I will say that if we sell in an item for like 100 billion coins, that is a lot of money. Indeed, that's a lot. The thing is, it depends how they get their money, because again, if you're just flipping auctions, then you're kind of just passing coins to players. But if you're like NPC selling something, then that would ruin the economy, because you're actually bringing coins into the game. Regardless, people play the game however they want, and if they enjoy making a crap ton of money, oh well. For this one, I gotta go to my boy Jacobus. First of all, you scamming. Ain't nobody trying to spend billions of coins on you. Second of all, the next hot take is that high magic power is a massive scam. Now, they wrote a whole paragraph, so let me just read that to you. They said, you know what, let me paraphrase it. Spending billions of coins to push your magical power past 800, or I should say accessory power, is purely community-induced brain rot. I can already feel y'all seething. I can already hear it. But I'ma keep going. Squeezing out a tiny bit of extra stats for 100 million coins per accessory is a horrible investment that provides almost zero noticeable performance difference across 99% of Skyblock players. Now see, this is where it's getting to me now, but hold on now. Instead, they can spend money on high tier weapons, attributes, and max enchantments. The endgame sweats only push it because they have nothing else to buy, but they have successfully brainwashed the rest of the community thinking you need 1.5 billion coins accessory bag just to play this game. I feel like I don't even want to begin on this one. Like, I'ma just, you know, it's a good thing this is anonymous, because that is a hot take, and I gotta say that's not a good take, because let's let's do the calculations here, okay? Let's so let's take a look at this cool website here, right? So let's say our magical power is 800, and let's say we are on hurtful. Boom. So if we look at this, it looks like we have 131 strength and 524 crit damage. Now let's say we have 2000, which would be a bit more expensive, but you know, that is the elites after all. You would have almost double the stats. And here's the thing, you have to realize that those stats get scaled, because if we look at critical, you can see that it increases it by a percentage, and anytime something increases by a percentage, that compounds. Think about it this way, if you only bought higher tier enchants, you're only getting a percentage gain, but if you were to increase your magical power and not get higher tier enchants, not only would you get more base stats, but you'd also get a higher percentage, which means that you'd get more essentially. So I think that yes, at a certain point, it may be better to get higher tier enchants, like when your last talisman is the bingo relic, or the artifact of control, or the future calories talisman, especially that one. Yeah, spending almost a bill for 3 magical power is probably not the best, but to say 800, I'm sorry, but 800 nowadays is almost free, so this is a bad take.
Whoa, brother, whoa.
The next take is that the optimization culture of Skyblock is high-key annoying, hating on people who are dungeon rushing, saying you should do the rift because it's better early game money making method and not because it's fun. And TLDR, just let people have fun and off meta for once. Now this is a take that I actually agree with, because after all, what is Skyblock? It's a game. And what should a game be? It should be fun, because that is what games are pretty much meant to be. There's only a few circumstances which I think this would be fair in. For example, if you're in a quote-unquote sweaty dungeon party, if it's like a sub 5 party, then yeah, you would expect people to be optimized because you joined a party that should be good. There's a sort of assumption made there. But if we're just doing like floor 3, or if we're just playing slayers, you know, you could help them, but it's not worth forcing it onto them. People can play how they want, and I mentioned this in the last hot take video, but you don't have to learn so much to play dungeons, because again, not everyone is super sweaty and not everyone wants to play it like that. I had a ton of fun just playing with my friends and having no idea what I was doing. To let people be off meta and have fun, yeah. If it's not affecting you, and if they're not in a spot where you would expect them to be sweaty, then yeah, let people play the game for how they want. And who cares if they're doing 2-minute blazes, which is kind of crazy, but hey, you do you, right? And I should probably say that if any of these hot takes really get you going, please comment down. I'd love to see your perspective on this, because I mean, hey, everyone's got their opinion, right? And I'm not gonna be like, nah, you wrong. I'ma hear you out, and then I'ma say you wrong. And also, I originally put out a forum for these hot takes, and there were a lot of hot takes, over 80 of them, and I'm only covering 5, so I'll probably do more videos like this, and I might even interview some people to get their perspective as well. Or I'll have some debates, we'll see. You guys let me know. But the last hot take is that mining, fundamentally as a skill, needs to be reworked. It is completely just grind slop and luck slop. Grinding for powder was nerfed heavily when they removed it from chests, and now the only way to really get good mithril powder is to do Dawn Espresso. You also have to get really lucky and get the best drill, best item to craft the best armor, get lucky in a lobby to get best pet, or spawn a really rare mob to get a random job. I kinda get where you're going with this. I feel like this is the problem with skills or things in the game that are innately boring, such as farming, mining included, because after all, farming in Minecraft is just breaking blocks, and I feel like the admins have done a decent job so far of trying to avoid that by adding pests, by adding crop fever, by doing what they can. That's the thing when the skill itself is kind of boring, and this is mining as well, because mining is just staring at blocks and clicking. But I feel like mining has a lot of opportunities to be changed, like mine shafts. I actually really enjoyed mine shafts, and it was one of my favorite grinds in this game. And the thing is, to say that something is completely grind slop, well, I mean, that's kind of Skyblock, right? There's pretty much like no aspect in this game where you don't grind, and I would say Rift is kind of one of them, because Rift to me felt more of like a story, and there was never really one part that had to grind like crazy, unless we're talking about Slayers, but you know, Slayers are Slayers after all. In terms of luck slop, I mean, there's like stuff that you can get lucky in, but that's a lot of aspects of this game as well, not just mining. I mean, if you think about dungeons, right? Why do you do dungeons? To make money is probably what most people would say, and after all, that is just RNG. Grinding for powder is a interesting one because it has changed a lot. Originally, you'd have to go around here and break the chest, and I believe it gave Mythil and Gemstone too, but nowadays it's just Gemstone, and I feel like it's a lot better now. Yes, it was nerfed heavily when it was removed for chests, but I feel like Gemstone powder is pretty fast to do nowadays, and same with Mythil powder. Dawn Espresso is actually, I feel like, much better, because that way you can go around grinding whatever you want, and then when it's on espresso, you can do Mythil powder, so you don't have to always mine Mythil, for example. I know that I would do Glaciite Caves, and then I would do Dawn Espresso after. Or I would grind B-Series, and then I do Dawn Espresso when he comes. In terms of getting lucky to get the best drill, if you're Iron Man, yeah, I understand. There is a pity system nowadays, but still, it is RNG after all. But still, you could say the same for all the other things as well. If you want the best bow, you have to get lucky. If you want the best sword, you have to get lucky. And I feel like that's just a thing that is Skyblock, because if something was the best and it wasn't just luck based, well, it could be abused pretty quickly. Like, say if you had to craft the best sword, then people would just grind that like crazy and could monopolize the market. Or it could even be too accessible to the point where everyone has it, and you know, that's just the base expectation, which is kind of what the Hypixel is now. But this take is not the worst, but I wouldn't say I 100% agree with it. So yeah. And before I go, I'd like to leave one more hot take for you to think about, and maybe comment down below your thoughts on it. And that is that Stranded is a great idea for a game mode. Normal Skyblock is just Hypixel MMORPG, but Stranded actually gives you the limitations of being on an island in the sky. If effort was put into it, it would easily be the best game mode in whoever wrote this's opinion. Thanks for watching.